What raid mounts are worth farming? In WoW, there are quite a few mounts that can be obtained through raids. So today we'll be going over the 10 best raid mounts to get and how to get them. Let us begin. Starting off our list, we have the Felsteel Annihilator. This mount can be obtained from the boss Archimonde in the raid, the Hellfire Citadel on Mythic difficulty. The Felsteel Annihilator drops from Archimonde at a 9% drop chance, and given it has been quite a while since Warlords of Draenor, this mount is quite easy to farm out for this boss. Next up at number 2, we have the Onyxian Drake, coming from the boss with the same name, Onyxia, at a 1.4% drop chance in the raid of Onyxia's lair within Dust Wallow Marsh. This mount can be easily farmed by both factions as it is fairly quick, as Onyxia is the only boss within this raid. Coming in at number 3, and in the raid of the Throne of the Four Winds, is the mount the Drake of the South Winds, which drops from the boss 𝐂𝐴𝐵 at a 2% drop chance. Located within Uldum, you can use the portal to the Caverns of Time to get there a bit faster to do, and along with this raid should only take you a few minutes to complete for one character. Highly recommended, as it is such a quick raid to do by using an alt army to speed this process up. Following onto this at number 4 is the mount the Clutch of 𝐂𝐿, which drops from the boss 𝐂𝐿 for a 2.7% drop chance. 𝐂𝐿 can be found in the raid the Throne of Thunder, which can be quite long-winded for the ill-prepared, but this is definitely worth farming due to the unique style for this mount alone, as this mount is pretty cool. Next up at number 5, and coming from the raid Ulduar within the Storm Peaks, is the mount Mimiroms Head from the last boss of the raid, 𝐂𝐨𝐳𝐫𝐭. This mount can drop at a 1% drop chance on 25 man, making sure not to pick up any of the keeper's buffs and slay 𝐂𝐨𝐳𝐫𝐭 for a chance of this mount. One thing to mention is that you will have an insanity meter on you, and while fighting 𝐂𝐨𝐳𝐫𝐭, your insanity will start to go down, making it so that once you reach 0, you will probably most likely die. So just as a side note for that. Following on to this at number 6, we have the reins of the fiery Warhorse. This mount drops from the first boss of the raid, Karazhan, from Atumen the Huntsman at a 1% drop chance. This mount is fairly easy to farm due to it being so that you have to run into the raid, slay the boss in front of you and run out. It is recommended to use an alt army for doing this to increase your chances, and being that it is so easy to farm, you should not have a problem in farming. Next up at number 7, and in the raid of Icecrown Citadel, you are able to farm the mount Invincible from the Lich King. This mount only drops in the 25-man heroic version of Icecrown Citadel and drops from the Lich King at a 0.8% drop chance. I remember this took me quite a while farming for this mount, so patience is key with farming this. Coming in at number 8, we have the Corkron Juggernaut from the raid the Siege of Orgrimmar, with a drop chance of 3% from the last boss of the raid, Garrosh Hellscream. However, you will be able to gain quite a few battle pets from this raid, which all sell for good amounts of gold. So if you're wanting this mount, you have a chance of making some reasonable gold as a side note. Following on to this at number 9, we have the mount Experiment 12B. This comes from the cache after the boss Ultraxion at a 1.2% drop chance, and in my opinion is one of the cooler dragon mounts around to date. This mount is farmed from the raid Dragon Soul, located within the Caverns of Time. This mount can be farmed on any difficulty, so you should not have an issue of obtaining this mount. Lastly, and to round out this list, is the reins of the astral cloud serpent, coming from the boss 𝐿𝐴𝐵𝐿. On any difficulty, you are able to gain this mount with a 4% drop chance. Much like farming for the Swift White Hawk Strider, which is also 4%, 𝐿𝐴𝐵𝐿 is found within the raid Mogoshon Vaults, within the Kunlai Summit, and is a fairly easy raid in order to clear for this mount. Other than that, guys, that is my pick for the 10 best raid mounts. Have a wonderful rest of the day, and I shall see you in the next video, which will be soon.